Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, March 3rd, and I'm your host, Kristen McDonald. It is great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood. This week on Norwood News, Carrie McCarthy shares what's happening at the Senior Center, and Chief Brooks shares some important information about scams. But first, we begin with the town saying goodbye to longtime General Manager John Carroll. Carroll passed away on February 25th. He served the town for 39 years until his retirement in 2017. During Tuesday night's selectmen meeting, the board paid tribute to Carroll and his many years of service.
Before we begin, I just want to acknowledge, for anyone who may not have heard, that we recently lost our former general manager, John Carroll, passed this past weekend. John served this community as the general manager for 39 years, from November 20th of 1978 until his retirement on December 15th of 2017. He served with 21 different selectmen. He was a mentor to most and a friend and a confidant to all. John was a truly warm and wonderful human being, genuine as any of us could be. Thomas Carlyle said, "Blessed is he who has found his work," and John found his work here in Norwood, and we are all blessed to be the beneficiaries of his efforts on our behalf.
The bandstand on the common. He knew, like years ago, we had a little broken down bandstand and then we didn't, and he knew that we needed a bandstand, so he took Walter Ryan, Mark Ryan's father, and a few people around to maybe 5 or 6 towns to see what style would be best for the town of Norwood. Then he had Jack Perry make the design for the bandstand. And then the crew, it was all done by volunteers. And it was done in the summertime, and it was hot. So my sister Ollie tells the story about how she brought some watermelon up to all the people working up there. And there was John Carroll on the top of the bandstand hammering nails into the top of the bandstand. You know, he never quit. He just kept working and working and working and making everybody feel welcome and cared for. I don't know, you know, we're so lucky we have Mr. Mizuko now, and I'm so glad that he said that in his words in that message. Thank you.
Back in 1982, I was going through a career change, and I went back to school to pursue a master's in public administration, and I was taking some personnel-related courses, and one of them allowed me to work to get credit, and I wrote a letter to Mr. Carroll asking if he wanted some free help in his office for personnel-related matters, and within just a matter of a day or two, Inez called me, and for the next several months, I worked with Mr. Carroll as well as Bernie Cooper on a variety of personnel-related matters. Eventually, I did have a career in HR that spanned some 35 years, and I'll always remember that Bernie and John together really were the epitome of public servants who really knew how to effectively manage and communicate with the community. Just great people to be mentored by.
When we return, we will bring you an update from the Senior Center and important information about scams.
Hi, I'm Rich Giacopo from Ricky Inc. We're a 501c3 nonprofit based out of Norwood. We're a charitable organization that provides backpacks and a whole host of other services to people who are in crisis from being afflicted with substance use disorder. We are having a fundraiser here in Norwood. It's going to be a comedy show, a really great lineup of 3 fantastic legendary comedians. The show will be on Thursday, March 30th. The show starts at 7:30, and we have Jimmy Tingle, Steve Sweeney, and Lenny Clark. We really hope that you can join us for that. So if you would like to get tickets, you could go to www.rickyinc.org. That's RICKYINC.org. And there's a link there you can click on. The tickets are very easy to purchase. We do have a 2-tier system on the tickets. There's a $50 ticket that includes a meet and greet with the comedians, and there's a general admission $35 ticket. There's a limit on the $50 tickets. The meet and greet, and we're selling them out fast. So in the words of Jack McCarthy, if you want to do the meet and greet, you should probably get on and buy the tickets now. So hope to see you, and thank you very much, and be safe out there.
The month of March is here, and the Senior Center is ready to celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
Hi everyone, it's Carrie McCarthy here with your March update for the Norwood Senior Center and Council on Aging. We have a great month planned for you. We are kicking it off on March 10th with our annual St. Patrick's Day party. We are having entertainment, which is sponsored by the Norwood Women's Club, so thank you to them for their generous donation. And then we will have a traditional Irish lunch. Sign-ups begin on March 1st. The following Friday, March 17th, we will have some Irish step dancers here doing a little performance for us, as well as Senior Center tappers. The following Friday, March 24th, Anthony Samarco will be here to do a presentation on his book, Easter Traditions in Boston. And then to close out the month on March 31st, we will have a line dance at 1 p.m. All these events do require you to sign up, so please call the Senior Center to register for these programs. We also want to remind you that we are still accepting applications for fuel assistance. If you need any help filling out a fuel assistance form renewal, or if it's your first time, please give our outreach coordinator, Kathleen Rooney, a call, and she will help you with that. We are also super excited to let you all know that we are having an evening yoga class with Lorella on Wednesday evenings at 6 o'clock. We're trying to bring some evening programs to folks who are still working during the day, so that you can still come and enjoy the Senior Center and see all that it has to offer. Again, please feel free to reach out to us for a newsletter. You can get the newsletter on the town's website as well. Thank you and have a great month.
The Norwood Police Station will no longer serve as a collection site for disposing of unwanted or expired prescription medications. Local pharmacies, such as CVS, will serve as public controlled substance disposal sites. Visit the link for further information on disposing of prescription medication, as well as locating collection sites near you. Recently, there has been an uptick in the number of scams perpetrated on seniors. It is important for all of us to be aware of what these scams might look like and how to avoid becoming a victim. Chief Brooks and Carrie McCarthy share some important tips.
Scams. I know we are constantly telling you about scams, but we just want to remind you, do not answer the phone. If you do not know the number, don't pick it up. If it's important, they will leave you a message or they will call you back. Also, emails. A lot of folks are coming in and bringing some emails that they're receiving. They're printing them off and showing us, and you can tell right away by the email address that it is a scam. So if you do not know the email address, please just delete it, get rid of it, do not open any attachments. If you are in any doubt or have any questions, please reach out to anyone here at the Senior Center and we can help you. We want to keep you safe. We want to make sure that these scammers do not take advantage of our seniors here in Norwood. Again, any questions or concerns, you can call us, and if you have been scammed or feel as though somebody is trying to scam you, please reach out to the Norwood Police Department.
Hi, this is Chief Bill Brooks of the Norwood Police Department. And I just want to talk a little bit about some of the scams that we've seen around Norwood recently. And what we've seen around Norwood is typical of what really is around the greater Boston area and really across the country. They're really rather common. So let me just describe a few. One is called the grandparent scam. And although it's called that, it can really represent any time you get a call from someone you believe is a member of your family, maybe a member of your family you haven't talked to in a while, and they're in trouble. And that trouble will typically be that they've been in a crash, that they've been arrested, or that they've been kidnapped. And what they need is money. Specifically, they need cash. Oftentimes during the phone call, a third party will get on the phone quickly, so there's no chance that you're not going to recognize the person's voice. That person may be an attorney. It may be one of the kidnappers. It may be some other person who's trying to help, who's a third party. And they'll explain the process for you providing the cash. In the case we had recently, the amount of cash needed was $9,000. And the woman who could not get to the bank was told that a car would pick her up. Now that really could be one of the bad actors involved in that transport, or it could have been a car service sent to her house to pick her up. In any event, she was driven to the bank. And when she got to the bank, she asked the teller for that amount of cash. Now, typically, the person on the phone will tell the victim not to talk to anybody about what's happened. It might be, gee, you don't want to embarrass your grandson, or if somebody finds out about this, it won't work out. In any event, it took a few minutes for the teller to glean from the victim exactly what was happening. And then that alert teller put a stop to it. And that was great work by the teller, and we have seen that before. The driver drove off when that happened, and the crime was not completed. So good work by the bank teller there. Another scam that we've seen is the naked photo scam. And we just saw that recently. That's more likely to target younger people. So that younger person meets somebody online, maybe on Instagram, and they begin to communicate back and forth. Oftentimes the male victim, but not always. But let's say the male victim has been told by the female, let me send you some photos of myself. And of course, they're not photos of the person you're really communicating with, but they're photos of an attractive woman. And then it might be a scantily clad photo of that particular woman, and then the woman says, let me send you some naked photos. I'll do that if you send me photos of you. And before you know it, the person has taken off their clothes and is sending naked photos in exchange for naked photos from the other person. And then you get that message over, again, Instagram or Snapchat or whatever platform you're on, saying, look, now I have these photos of you, and I also know who all your contacts are. Send me cash, or I'm going to release these photos to your contact list. So again, that the way to avoid that is not to be sending naked photos to people. Certainly don't send naked photos to somebody you've never met before. It's just you just run that risk. Another scam is the romance scam. Again, similar to what I just talked about, and this is someone that you've met online, but you've never met in person. In fact, there was an article in the Globe just recently about this. A woman said she was 85 and she had a much younger boyfriend, but they'd never been able to meet in person. And typically this person that you're communicating with will ask for cash because they want to set up a business, or they want to come visit you. Boy, I'd love to meet you in person, but I'm going to need about $5,000 to travel. And if you could just transmit that $5,000 to me, I'll be able to come and visit you. That's called the romance scam. In reality, that's not a young boyfriend. That's somebody looking to scam you. Another scam we've seen from time to time, and is fairly common, we call it the IRS scam. And that's someone who calls you and purports to be a member of the IRS, and they tell you, there are back taxes for you, and you're not current on your taxes. And if you don't pay your taxes, we're going to come and arrest you. And they make arrangements for you to transmit the money. Now, oftentimes, oddly enough, these persons claiming to be agents from the IRS will direct the person to go to a CVS or to a Target and to buy a gift card, and scratch the numbers off the back and read the numbers, and that's how you pay your back taxes. Well, that's absurd. Number one, the IRS would never collect back taxes that way, but more importantly, the IRS never calls you by phone. If the IRS needs to reach you, they're going to send you a letter, and they're not going to call you by phone. So disregard that. Sometimes you get a call from a person purporting to be law enforcement who says, we have a warrant for your arrest, and if you don't pay a back fine, we're going to come out and arrest you. Well, listen, if that happens and you're a Norwood resident, give us a call back if you want to authenticate that call is real. Well, we do call people who have arrest warrants out for them to let them know that they have a warrant for a minor charge, but we don't collect any kind of fines or court fees over the phone. So give us a call if you receive a call like that, and we'll be able to verify it. This is a good time for me to mention telephone number spoofing. There are apps out there that will allow you to make a call from your phone, but have the number on the receiving phone appear to be someone else. And we have had people spoof our number to an outgoing call to another person. So the phone number will show up as 762-1212, and that might not be us at all. Feel free to call the police station. We can talk to you. We'll tell you what's really going on. Another scam that we see is computer hacking. And that's where you're on the computer and somebody else seems to be in control of your mouse. And they tell you that if you give them some information, you give them specifically your password, that they can help you solve that problem. And that you'll need to transmit some money to them and they'll help you, remove the problem that you're having with your computer. Never do that. Those are all scams. Nobody's going to just arbitrarily come up on your computer and start taking control of your mouse. That's all computer hacking, and you never want to fall for that. And I guess the last one I want to mention is the sweepstakes scam. That's where a person calls, similar to the IRS scam, says you have won the sweepstakes, you have won clearinghouse sweepstakes, for instance, and all you have to do is prepay the income tax. And again, they will direct you to CVS or Target and ask you to take out some money by buying a gift card and then scratching the numbers on the back. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, and you don't want to fall for that. So a few things I want to mention. I do again want to compliment bank tellers who interrupt these kinds of scams. That's very helpful. And sometimes rideshare drivers like Uber will get in the middle of these things, realize that they're transporting a person for some unlawful purpose, and will help us interrupt that. So some cautions. Cautions about incoming calls. People who call you that you have not solicited, that should be a red flag. Start right there. Somebody calls you and you have not asked them to call you, it's a number you don't recognize, be very cautious of that. The purchase of gift cards and scratching the back for the purpose of paying anything over the phone. Never do that. Never scratch the back of a gift card for the purpose of revealing numbers that will help you pay for something. Back taxes or a court fine or anything like that. Never do that. And some of these people will actually have you pay by cash, by either asking you to put cash in a UPS or FedEx envelope and to mail it somewhere, or the real brazen ones will show up at your house, or may ask you to hop in a car and take a ride to the bank. Never do that. Listen, if you ever suspect that you're in the middle of a scam, call us. These things happen all the time, and we would rather talk to you about it than have you be a victim. We're never going to judge you for the fact that you're halfway through one of these things before you figure it out. Pick up the phone, give us a call. We're happy to help you. We'll send a radio car to your house, or you can come here to the station. We'll walk you through it, and we'll help you get out of it. So I appreciate that NCM is doing this particular piece. This is really very valuable. We see too many people lose too much money in scams, and I think it's great that NCM is doing this piece.
Now we'll toss it over to Joey DeVingo with school news.
I'm Joey DeVingo, and let's take a look at some activities happening in our Norwood schools this week. In Norwood High School news, the World Language Department will present the 16th Annual Celebration of Languages and Cultures. It will be held Thursday, March 9th from 6 to 8 in the NHS Dining Hall. There will be an international buffet, and tickets are $5. Come and sample foods from around the world in over 12 booths. This is sure to be a fun family event. In Coakley Middle School news, we have been highlighting projects in Miss Saratis' computer class. 7th graders are building prototypes to mimic technologies they see around them and coming up with their own ideas for new inventions. In a world where the future of technology is now, the students in Miss Saratis' classroom are getting a head start. Let's take a look at a few more.
Hi, my name is Helen. Hi, my name is Maria. And this is the Brazilian Girl teacup ride. So basically how it works is we use the button A to make the continuous servo turn around, and it makes that feeling of you almost falling down of the teacup. So this project is supposed to make you feel excited. You know, these parts that you have, which is like these big fun rides. This is what it's supposed to feel, because if it's like you're falling, but you're not really falling. It's an exciting moment. So this is how it works. We have the little door. We have the poster with the time, the how much is for the people, for each people, and we have our flag, the name of our park of what teacup. And this is how it works.
So if you click the A button, the thing is going to start to spin. If you stop clicking on it, stop to spin. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hi, my name is Nicole.
My name is Gabby.
And our project is a carousel, and our input is a servo, and it's gonna make this spin when I press this.
At the Balch School, Principal Diane Ferreira has been going into various classrooms for observations. Here are some amazing pictures of co-teaching and small group instruction, both within a classroom and in a different setting. Small group instruction is effective because the teaching is focused on the needs of the students with the goal of growing their academic skills. The Callahan School had a great food drive, and the PTO thanks all for making the drive a success. Together, the school raised over 538 items in need and would also like to thank Mr. Downs and his 5th grade class for helping to organize, box, count, and lift all the donations. And to celebrate Kindness Week, 2nd grade students in Miss Alessi's class made a kindness chain. They wrote kind words and actions on each link. At the Cleveland School, students had a fabulous afternoon with a Black History laser light show. Thank you to the PTO for this enrichment opportunity. The Oldham Kids Club have started up again. Students can choose after-school clubs like ukulele, scrapbooking, or dodgeball. Students in Pokemon Club will trade Pokemon cards, play games, and draw things like this Pokemon surprise drawing. Proceeds raised help the PTO fundraising efforts, and the kids are really enjoying their clubs. Over February vacation, students in grades K to 8 attended the February Acceleration Academy held at Cleveland and CMS. They spent the 4-day week working on their math or ELA skills. Students completed themed activities, played in creative games, and did real-world projects. Fun was had by the staff and the students. At the Little Mustangs preschool, the Little Mustangs welcomed children's musician Sarah Gardner to LMPA. Miss Gardner brought music, movement, and fun to the pre-K community. Students even had an opportunity to create their own music using ukuleles, drum, and many other percussion instruments. Thank you to the LMPA and Willett PTO and Norwood Cultural Council for the support of this exciting enrichment program. Well, that's it for school news. The students are always learning, and thanks to all the educators who share their school news with us. Now, let's send over to sports with Ron Marshalsea.
I'm Ron Marshalsea, and this is your sports update. The girls basketball team played Holyoke in the first round of the D2 tournament, and the name of the game in this one was rebounds. Offensive rebounds, to be specific. Everyone on the team contributed to a stellar rebounding and defensive performance, and junior captain Alexa Koris dropped a 27-point double-double against a tough Holyoke team. The Mustangs managed to hold the Purple Knights' Bianca Ortiz, their 1,000-point scorer, to under 10 points. The team is now waiting for the winner of Ashland and Pentucket to see who they play in the round of 16. And congratulations are in order for 3 members of the girls basketball team. Each captain received recognition as Trisha Wachowski and Alexa Koris were selected as Tri-Valley League All-Stars, and Lauren Reen received an honorable mention. Congratulations to them on their achievements and the team on their big win over Holyoke. In the preliminary round of the D2 state tournament, the boys basketball team had a massive win over Ludlow, 65-31. This was as good as a game as you can ask for if you're a Mustang fan, as senior captain Noah Bodette put up 21 points and 10 different Mustangs were able to score in this one. Noah Bodette was also named the TVL Lodge MVP for the 2nd year in a row. Junior captain Maddie Mahoney was named an All-Star, and senior captain Dylan Hamway and senior Casey Sheehan were named honorable mentions. Also, their coach, Chris Fraioli, was named the TVL Large Coach of the Year in his first season coaching the Mustangs. Congratulations to Noah, Maddie, Dylan, Casey, and Coach Fraioli on the accolades. However, the job isn't finished yet, as the boys will move on to the round of 32, where they will travel to number 9 seeded Foxborough tonight, March 3rd at 5 o'clock. Foxborough Cable Access will be live streaming the game on their website, and NCM will be covering it, and the game will be broadcasted on our community channel next week. I've been talking about stellar former Mustangs being incredible in their sport well after high school, but there's an athlete that I haven't talked about yet, and that is former NHS student and Emerson College student athlete Jared Houston. Jared is an All-American for Emerson, the 2021-22 NCAA D3 statistical champion, a 12-time NEWMAC Conference Defensive Player of the Week, and twice selected as a first-team All-Conference player. But wait, there's more. Houston scored 1,636 points and grabbed over 1,000 rebounds in his career playing for the Lions, averaging 2.8 blocks and 10.9 rebounds a game. Because of his dominance, he was also named the NEWMAC Conference Athletic and Defensive Player of the Year, both last year and this year. Jared actually stopped by one of the Mustangs boys basketball team's practices, giving some words of wisdom and advice before their lopsided win over Ludlow. I imagine it's pretty hard not to dominate the team you're about to play when you just had a pep talk by one of the most dominant college basketball players. Congratulations, Jared, and thanks for giving back. The girls hockey team took the ferry to Martha's Vineyard for the second time in 2 weeks and came out with another win to advance to the round of 16 in the D2 tournament. 5 different Mustangs scored against the Vineyarders. Senior captain Jenna Nauman, junior assistant captain Michaela Reen, senior captain Morgan Roach, junior Molly Federico, and junior Sophie Krusch all notched a goal in the big first round victory. Sophie scored her first goal in this one, and sophomore goalie Bernadette Tenor had an incredible game in net. The girls will be traveling to the Bog in Kingston to play Duxbury tomorrow the 4th at 3 o'clock. The boys hockey team traveled to Salem State University for the round of 32 in the D2 tournament to play Marblehead. The first period was even with no score, but the Mustangs exploded for 3 goals in the second. Rich Carroll had a routine dump and chase, and the puck bounced back onto his stick for his first career goal. The puck bounced the Mustangs' way again, creating a breakaway for senior captain Sean Dittmeyer. Here's Mark Hoover and Eric Bodenhofer with the call.
Yeah, freshman out there on the penalty kill. Oh, nice little step there by Sean Dittmeyer. Karen's chasing him down. Oh! Short-handed goal for Sean Dittmeyer. Talk about a nice way to kill a penalty. Wow, what a great individual effort by Sean Dittmeyer. Way to go, Ditt. Woo! I mean, just rocks that. Battles, able to come away from the Marblehead player, get a jump on Karen, and just strong right at the goalie in a blistering shot.
Yeah, and again, what we've been seeing with our forwards, both in terms of forecheck, and that all starts with Ditt coming right at the man, making the block right there. I mean, if you close that distance.
Dittmeyer scored his second goal during the same power play as he poke-checked the puck away from a Marblehead defenseman. The Mustangs were up 3-0 after 2. And in the third period, the Headers made it 3-1, but assistant captain Connor Lydon answered back by stick handling through 2 defensemen and going 5-hole to make it 4-1. Late in the third, Marblehead scored to make it 4-2, and the Mustangs wrapped it up with an empty netter to make the final 5-2. Norwood will play Tewksbury on Sunday the 5th at 3:40 at the Breakaway Ice Rink in Tewksbury for the round of 16. And that is all I have for this sports update. I'm Ron Marshalsea. And Norwood News will be right back after this break.
Did you know Norwood Community Media has a weekly newsletter? If you're interested in signing up, all you have to do is go to our website, norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Once you're there, scroll to the bottom of the page and click on the sign up for our newsletter button. All you have to do for that is fill out your first and last name, your email, as well as your zip code. Once you press send at the end of each week, you will have our newsletter in your inbox, ready for you to catch up on all things Norwood.
The Board of Health met on Tuesday morning in room 24 of the Town Hall. With updates from each member of the health department, there was one particular program that was talked about, and Superintendent Stacy Lane explained the special history of this program.
Thank you. Just to give a little history of the Gift of Warmth. That was the Gift of Warmth slash Managers Fund. John Carroll started that years and years ago, and Tony Mazzucco continued it. And what it is we the generous donations of all the businesses in town, they fund this.
Oh, did that ever run through Teddy's office?
No, it was actually different. It was through the manager's office.
Yeah.
Kathy Carney did that a lot. Kathy Bronco originally.
Oh,
yes.
I love it.
Kathy Carney did the intake, and then
Deirdre
now we have
Carney?
Dee Carney.
So where do the funds come now that I can?
From all the businesses. So,
Still now we send out
manager's
donations.
Manager's office sends out a letter we're asking for donations, and this is all from the generous donations of the town businesses.
At Tuesday's Selectmen's meeting, the board received a report from the Morse House Committee. The committee requested the board approve a proposal for the committee to apply to the Community Preservation Committee for a $192,000 grant to begin the first phase of work on the Morse House and applied to list the house on the National Registry of Historical Places. The work will focus on shoring up the building and preserving it while the committee decides what the future use of the building will be. The Board of Selectmen approved the request and a request for the current committee to continue its work. As we end this newscast, Norwood Community Media plans to remember John Carroll throughout the month of March by rebroadcasting programs and events featuring John. NCM cherishes the memories we have, and we are currently working on a special tribute program that will highlight John Carroll, the person, and his legacy. We dedicate this newscast to John and his family and leave you with this video that was played at Tuesday night's Selectmen meeting. It features the late Assistant Town Manager Bernie Cooper, a dear friend of John, who worked by his side every day of John's career in Norwood.
John made it clear when he walked through the front door of the town hall that there were 3 pillars in his life. He won't remember this conversation, but I do. A devotion to God and to God's works, a devotion to his family, and a devotion to his fellow man through public service. The first pillar upon which all of the others rest, a devotion to God. When John first came to Norwood, he was deeply involved in a Christian prison ministry at the Walpole State Prison. Tough duty. He became involved with other ministries over the years as well, including the Bridge, which provided a conduit for ex-inmates into civil society, and Young Life, a program for teens. Many of us know that John attends the Park Street Church and has for many years, and that for many years he's had a ministry to the homeless. After services on Sunday mornings, John crosses the street. I call it the Dunkin' Donuts ministry because John feeds the homeless who gather and treats them on Sunday mornings to a meal that doesn't cost them anything. That's John Carroll. John's family anchors the second pillar of his life. They serve as an immense source of love and pride. When John first came to Norwood, he and Penny were trying to meld together 2 families still recovering from their own turmoil and loss. But the family provided an everyday source of conversation in the office. They came in every day. John would come in with a different story. There was always a story about one or another of the 18 kids, usually ending with a short note that Penny made, a verbal jab saying, "I told you so." Inez Galazzi, who was John's secretary at the time, used to say that John would come to work for peace and quiet. John's stories still continue, but now they're mixed with snippets from the grandchildren. There are still lots of stories to be told. And finally, that third pillar. John made it clear when he walked through the portal of the town hall back in 1978 that his ministry was public service. He had worked for a number of years for the town of Lexington before he was lured into the private sector for several years. In 1974, he returned to public service as commissioner of the Mass Department of Public Works, where, to hear him tell it, he single-handedly repulsed the blizzard of 1978. And then political fortunes turned, and John's days in the sun appeared numbered. His tenure at the state was ending, and he was looking for a job to feed the hungry horde at home. What to do? His options seemed unlimited. With a civil engineering degree, a long record of public service, and his Irish pedigree, big engineering or big construction seemed to be an obvious path to riches. And then Norwood beckoned, thanks to Walter Dempsey, Marty Lydon, and Joe Curran. A way to continue in public service, certainly, but not exactly the path to riches, not monetary riches. So when John Carroll walked through the door of the town hall, my first question was, why Norwood? Why small-town Norwood? And John's answer has defined his tenure here in Norwood. At the state level, his job as commissioner entitled him to cut a lot of ribbons. Ribbons for projects that had begun 10 or 15 or 20 years earlier by a long-forgotten highway commissioner nobody remembered. The bureaucracy was stifling, and the levels of decision-making at the state level were endless. But at the local level, You could define a problem, work on the solution, and actually see something happen. Something that said, I made a difference. And the difference John Carroll has made. There's not a corner of this community that hasn't seen evidence of the difference he has made. And that difference has not just been bricks and mortar. In many ways, his legacy has been his approach to public service. John is fond of saying when confronted with an issue or problem, I don't know the answer, but how do we find it? What is the process? Who is or who should be involved? John knows instinctively that the problem before him is often not just an engineering problem or a design issue or even an organizational problem. At heart, most issues in public service are people issues, people problems. He is a master of the process of working with people. That's why he chose service, and that's why he came to Norwood.
Whenever I think of the town of Norwood, it just brings happiness to my heart. You know, I worked in Norwood for 39 years. I thought I would go forever. I wanted to, but I love the town. I love working there. I love working on various projects. I always try to make the town a little bit better. And I worked with some great people down through the years, including Bernie Cooper, who died way too young, just a year ago. But I loved working with so many very, very good people. Bob Thornton, the town accountant, everybody that I work with was just wonderful. And I'm so pleased and happy that the selectmen found an excellent candidate, Tony Masuko, to replace me. So congratulations to the town of Norwood on their 150th anniversary. It's well worth it. I well remember sitting at the head table in a tuxedo next to Ernie Bach for the 125th anniversary at Concannon's 25 years ago. And every day I get up to go to work, I was happy. And every day I come home from work, I was satisfied that I had done something to help the town. I tell that to Mark Ryan all the time. He's a public works director, and I say, Mark, every day you go home looking back on that particular day's work, knowing that you've helped one family or maybe 50 or 100, whether you've fixed some one thing for them or you've paved a street. But it's I just had so much enjoyment. And God bless you all. I hope you all have a great night on the 150th anniversary. I love you all.
John, I will miss you. That goes without saying. We have met many good people in the course of our service with the town of Norwood, and so many of them have gone, but so many remain, and all of us miss you.